Hello everyone, I'm Zoepancakes delivering you the newest weekly update on Old School RuneScape. Last week was jam-packed, with changes to Group Iron Man, new rewards for the Tombs of a Masket, equipment rebalancing, RuneLite support for the Jagex launcher, and an update on Giant's Foundry. This week, I'll be sharing a ton of small improvements and nice quality of life updates from Poll 76. So let's dive in! For all of you horrible dog killers out there, Hellhounds will now drop in sold Hellhound heads. These items fit in the expert tier of reanimation and will give 1200 prayer XP. Killing the reanimated Hellhounds will also count towards your Slayer tasks, and works with the Soul Bearer. Ensouled Hellhound heads have been added to the Cerberus drop table as well. Tent roofs at the Shazian Infirmary will now be hidden automatically whenever the player enters the area, and some of the environmental objects around have been removed to smooth out your pathing between tents. A great change has been made in the fight caves. NPCs are now visible from a further distance. Hopefully this will help some of you pures on your upcoming 67th Jad attempt. You can now press the space key on the interfaces for smithing and gold and silver jewelry to craft the highlighted item. After this update, the item highlighted will be the last item you crafted as long as you have the right materials to make it this time around. If you don't, the highlight will not appear. Oh look! A fairy ring has sprouted to the north of the Isle of Souls. We'll let you smart cookies figure out the code yourselves. And speaking of the Isle of Souls, Soul Wars can now be played on every world. Soul Wars XP rewards have been updated to now match what was initially polled. Per token, attack, defense, strength, and hit points went from 24 to 30 XP, ranged and magic went from 22 to 27 XP, and prayer has gone from 12 to 14 XP. A Buy X functionality has also been added to the Other tab for players to purchase items within the Soul Wars reward shop. Trover parchments can now be used on the League's 3 version of Void Knight equipment, Dragon Defender's Tea, and Rune Defender's Tea, so you can be told to sit in style.
Wait, what?
If the player is killed by another player with the locked version of the item, the PKer gets the value of the Trover parchment and the ornament kit, while the regular version of the item is returned to the player. This occurs at all wilderness levels. If the player is killed by another player with a non-locked version of the item, the PKer gets gold equivalent to the value of the item minus the value of the ornament kit and the ornament kit. Below level 20 Wilderness, the player will receive a broken version of the item. At Wilderness levels above 20, the player will receive nothing. Prayer books with a League's 3 ornament kit will now appear as such when you preach with them. The Bigger and Badder Slayer reward unlock no longer shows as a pie on the reward interface. Rest in peace, Spooky Pie. You will be missed. You can no longer alk whilst inside a game of Guardians of the Rift. Charged Pharaoh Scepters now appear brighter, Diango no longer has a buy limit on Chronicle cards, and Temporos fishing spots had their click area visually adjusted. The team has also released some fixes across their multiple newest clients. The following changes have been fixed on Steam, Android, and iOS. Entity highlights will now work correctly in the Tears of Guthix minigame. Fairy rings and player-grown mahogany trees will now be highlighted by entity highlights. When clearing a private chat history, the cleared chat no longer returns when logging back in. The HP regen indicator correctly updates when running out of prayer points with Rapid Heal on, and unused interfaces whilst on target worlds are no longer visible. There's a few fixes that are just for Android and iOS. The multi-way combat icon no longer overlaps with the collapsed minimap, and the player can no longer interact with the minimap through the XP tracker. Long tap delay settings will update visually after setting the new value. And the following changes apply only to the Steam client. Rejoice, Steam-locked content creators! The Orb of Oculus now displays correctly. The darkness has been lifted. Items no longer drag or drift in the inventory when pre-selecting an item and moving it, and teleporting with items in the drag state now works as intended. Agility highlights will now remain when returning from a random event. We also wanted to spotlight some awesome members of the community. The legend himself, Exac, did a charity stream for Pencils of Promise, an organization that empowers children in communities worldwide through improving access and quality of education. He's already raised over $15,000. If you'd like to make a donation, you can click the link in the description.
3, 2, 1.
We also saw this amazing Zulrah Lego arena from The Hopeless on Reddit. Shout out to everybody who continues to make phenomenal game art. Lastly, the team has been working on moving towards a newer, shinier, and better C++ client for some time now. That client's already out on Steam and in various mobile betas for iOS and Android. Some of these features have been brought to mobile through various betas. But this week, the team is putting out a blog that focuses on the user interface on mobile. Recent surveys gave the team information on the features people want, and most people felt that the updated UI was easy to use, but the team wants it to be the best possible so that mobile users can engage in more content. The goal is to add features players have been asking for without cluttering the screen. Here's what's proposed on the new mobile UI. Side panels have been moved so that the right-hand side has 2 columns. By default, only the primary column is shown, with tabs that are integral to moment-to-moment gameplay, and panels that are more informational can be shown or hidden with the new Expand button. This lets the team add new features more easily, and is also a huge quality of life change for spells like High Alchemy and Superheat while on mobile. Chat buttons have been moved to the left-hand side in a scrollable list, so you can see more of your chat vertically at once. There's a pop-out panel that expands from the bottom left, which toggles between minimized, full, and small, but will provide players an easy way to track XP rates or, in the future, loot tracking without obstructing a lot of screen space. The function button has been replaced with an expandable controls scroll. Toggles from the top down are enable walk here taps, enable interaction taps, enable tile highlight taps, and enable tap to drop. The control scroll could also accommodate more features like a metronome toggle or toggles to show and hide ground items. The new client will also feature better usability functions, including taller buttons and a minimizable minimap. And that wraps up all the updates from this week. While nothing too crazy happened, we definitely saw plenty of improvements for all types of players. Again, I'm Zoepancakes. If you'd like to watch me live, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description. Next week's update will be brought to you again by Soup on the Old School RuneScape channel, since we know how much everybody loves him. So don't miss it. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.